What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another FPL video on the channel. And in today's one, we are going to be looking at my Game Week 35 transfer plans as we are approaching the business end of the season. But before we do get into that, let's have a quick review on how we've performed so far in Game Week 34. Now, I want to let you guys know I'm actually recording this transfer plans video on a Sunday morning, right? So currently, as things stand, I'm on 43 points, and I do unfortunately have a small green arrow down to 332k. However, right, with that being said, I still do have quite a few players left to play, including my captain, right? I've got Alisson, Luis Diaz, Mohamed Salah captain, Cliver, and Even Olsen. So I'm really hoping these players can absolutely smash it, and I'm really hoping that they can push me to get a big green arrow, because I certainly do need it if I want to make it into that top 100k. So I need a big FPL performance from Even Olsen, a big FPL performance from Cliver, and the same for Salah, Diaz, and Alisson. But yeah, with that being said, let's get into my transfer plans for Game Week 35. Alright guys, so we are on planfpl.com and we do have a lot of things to discuss. I'm going to be totally honest with you guys, my head is absolutely scrambled and I really don't know what I want to do, man. I feel like the pressure is on. I can't lie, man, the pressure is on right now and I certainly am feeling the pressure. My head is scrambled, I don't know what to do. So yeah, man, let's just get into it, man. Let's just get into it. This is what my team currently does look like in Game Week 35 and I think it looks okay, right? It could be worse. It could be worse. This is the team that we're coming back to after playing the free hit in Game Week 34. And as I said, yeah, it looks okay. On the bench, I've also got Foden, Cousinov, and Nico Williams. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I've got one free transfer. And guys, I also do have my bench boost to play, right? And I do feel like this is an important thing to mention because I actually don't really know when I want to play my bench boost. I think there is a scenario where I actually do play it in Game Week 35. I could also play it in Game Week 36. And I've even considered playing it in Game Week 38. Now, if I was to play my bench boost, this is what I want to talk about first, right? If I was to play my bench boost in Game Week 35, I would probably have to take out, I'll probably have to take a -4 hit, right? And take out Foden and Cousinov because I don't think I can trust Foden to start. I don't think I can trust Cousinov to start. Since I've bought these two absolute frauds in my team, they've not started any game. Right? They've literally not started a single game since I bought these absolute bums in my team on my Game Week 30 wildcard, right? So I don't think I would be able to bench boost with these guys on the bench. So if I was to replace Foden and Cousinov, right, the question is who would I go for? Now, off the top of my head, right, I just want to target the relegated sides, right? So Leicester, Ipswich, Southampton. These are the teams that I just want to target, bro. So I think, right, if I was going to bench boost in 35, there is a possibility where I take out Foden, right? Yeah, it would have to be Foden because I could do one of the Crystal Palace players like Saw, but then if I'm going to bench boost, having Foden on the bench who I don't know will start is not really ideal, right? So if I was going to bench boost in 35, it would have to be Foden, and I take out Foden for probably Doucoure. As I said, right, I really do want to target the relegated sides, and if I was to bring in a midfielder, right, for me, I just take a punt on Doucoure. His ownership is very low. Like he's a massive differential. I'm pretty sure his ownership is under 1% ownership. So listen, I've got to do something at this moment in time with the way things are looking. I've got to take a few risks, right? I've got to pick a few differentials if I want to stand a chance of making it inside the top 100k. And I'm more than happy to bring in Doucoure. I think, you know, positionally he does get really close to goal at times, right, and does find himself in the penalty box quite often. And as well, another thing that I do like about the Everton assets is the fact that they play against Ipswich at home and Southampton at home. So 2 of their last 4 games are home fixtures against the relegated sides, which I like a lot. And also Fulham away isn't too bad either. Newcastle away on the last day is really tough, especially because Newcastle are fighting for top 5. However, by the time it gets to Game Week 38, Newcastle could already have their place in the Champions League spot confirmed, so it might not be as hard of a fixture. But ultimately, I don't mind taking a punt on the Everton assets for the last 4 games. So, with that being said, as I said, right, if I'm going to bench boost in 35, Foden out, Doucoure in. Now, Cousinov, right, again, I don't think I can trust him to start. So again, I would probably look to take him out. This would be for a -4 hit. Now, is it worth doing it for a -4 hit? I think it is. I do think it is. So the question is for who? Now, again, I might actually go to, right? There is a chance that I do go to another Everton defender. It could be Patterson. It could be O'Brien, right? But there is a chance where I do go to another Everton defender because, again, like I said, the fixtures are certainly there for the Everton assets. So, yeah, if I was going to bench boost, I've already got Mikalenko. I would probably go for either O'Brien or Branthwaite. They're the two players that I would probably go for. I think O'Brien's aerial threat is just absolutely ridiculous, right? I'm pretty sure he's like 6'6" or 6'7". He's an absolute, just a unit of a man, right? An absolute unit. So the set piece threat with O'Brien is certainly there, and I think I would probably take a punt on O'Brien. And if I was to bench boost, right, that's how my team would look, and that's how the realistic bench would look, right? Doucoure, actually, no, you know what? I think I'd start Doucoure over Sarr. So my realistic bench would be this: Sarr, Konate against Chelsea, Nico Williams against Palace. It's not the best bench. I'm not going to lie. It really isn't the best bench, but ultimately, the bench boost chip is very, very annoying, and I don't really mind just getting it out of the way. Honestly, I don't mind. So, yeah, this is like my first option in terms of what I want to do for Game Week 35. If I was to bench boost, I'd triple up on Everton. I know it sounds crazy, but ultimately, I've got to do a couple of wild things if I do want to make it into that top 100k. I think playing it safe for the remainder of the season is pretty much out the window, right? It's time to take some risks, like some real proper risks, and basically just hope and pray that I do get lucky. That's all I'm doing at the moment, really, from this point moving forward. So, yeah, that is certainly a possibility. And then we will move on to Game Week 36 with this strategy. Now, as I said, I'm recording this on a Sunday morning, right? So I don't actually know, right, what the FA Cup semi-final result is between Man City and Nottingham Forest. But at the time of recording, I do know that Crystal Palace knocked out Aston Villa in the FA Cup, right, to make it to the final. Now, the reason I mention this is because there is a possibility of a double in Game Week 36. Now, as you guys can see here, Spurs literally just tweeted, right, a few hours ago, right, that they're in discussions with the Premier League about rescheduling their away fixture against Aston Villa, right? So if that does go through, there is a possibility, not confirmed, and we will know later on in the week, right? But I just want to sort of just run through my initial thoughts. So things generally could change, but ultimately there is a chance, right, that Aston Villa do double in Game Week 36. Now, if that does happen, Aston Villa double as well as Spurs, I'm not gonna lie, I'm completely ignoring the Spurs assets, right? Definitely going to ignore the Spurs assets. Don't want anything to do with them, even if they're doubling, because the thing is, I don't have a free hit, right? I don't have a wild card, so I don't want to stack up too much on double game weekers for 36, because the teams that double in 36 will have a blank in 37, right? So there's no point me wasting transfers, taking hits to bring in Spurs players who, number one, are just absolutely a dreadful team, and number two, also blank the following game week, right? It doesn't make sense to me. So with that being said, this is what I would do if, right, we do get the confirmation that Aston Villa do double. I'm most likely going to do this. So to be honest, I could end up taking like a -8 or a -12, but hear me out. So, number one, Isak out, right? Yes, I know, absolutely insane, crazy. Yes, I get it, cool, fine. But yeah, Isak out. It could be Mateta, to be fair. And if, in fact, you know what? I take that back. I wouldn't do Isak out. I'd do Mateta out, right? I would do Mateta out because I think Newcastle battling for top 4, or top 5, sorry. Isak being one of the best players in the Premier League this season, I don't think I could take him out. So I'd actually take big boy Jean-Philippe Mateta out. I would bring in Ollie Watkins, right? Assuming that Aston Villa do double. Rashford has actually been confirmed out for, I think, the remainder of the season, right? So, yeah, I'm pretty sure he does have a muscle injury. So, yeah, Rashford probably won't be involved in this double game week. And if that is the case, right, I could be wrong about Rashford being out for the whole of the season, but he does have an injury because he wasn't in the squad yesterday in the FA Cup game against Crystal Palace, right? So if he does still have this injury, then I do like Ollie Watkins as a pick, especially if they do double, right? Because he's most likely going to play both games in this double, and I think that would make him an excellent pick. So yeah, I would bring in Ollie Watkins for big boy Jean-Philippe Mateta, unfortunately. I would then look to do this, right? Saliba out. Yeah, Saliba. Actually, no. First things first, I think I'd bench Saliba. I would bench Saliba. I would start Konate. I would take out Raya, right? I take out Raya for Martinez. Again, like this video is going to be very, very unstructured because I just think there is so much to consider. So yeah, I would take out Raya for Martinez because he doubles. So I don't mind doing that. I've got Areola on the bench. So that would take me at -4. Now, assuming I've already used my bench boost, remember, assuming I've used my bench boost, we don't really need to worry about having good players on the bench. So Ismaila Sarr would come in for Doucoure, and the team could look like that, which isn't too bad. It's not too bad. However, this is where I want to talk about Man City and not Nottingham Forest now. Because if Man City do go through instead of Nottingham Forest and Man City have a double, it would be against Southampton away and Bournemouth at home. If that was the case, then I would certainly say I'd have to triple up on Man City with those fixtures, especially with them battling for top 5. They've got the experience, they've got the know-how, how to get the results and to get the wins over the line. And playing against Southampton away in a double game week, I'd have to go for triple City. The question is for who, right? The question is for who. I would probably say De Bruyne has a good chance of starting. So I think if I was to bring in De Bruyne, who would I take out is the question, right? Who would I take out? I mean, maybe one of the Crystal Palace players, maybe an Ismaila Sarr. I take out Ismaila Sarr. I bring in Kevin De Bruyne, who has a double. And then I think I would take out either Konate or Saliba. Yeah, take out William Saliba and then bring in Gvardiol for Manchester City for the double. So if Man City win, that's probably what I would do. Go triple City, triple Villa, and that would be for a -12. It's not ideal that it's for a -12, but ultimately it is what it is, man. I just do want to attack the double game weeks. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do yet. This is just all my initial thoughts and feelings with my team at the moment. But yeah, I do need to decide if I do want to bench boost. I mean, do I want to bench boost with this? I'm not too sure. If I don't bench boost in 35, it means I won't take a hit now. That's one thing I will say. So yeah. But anyway, listen, enough of me rambling. Thank you so much for watching. Smash a like on the video, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It is the business end of the season. Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. But until then, I'm out. Peace.